Tell you what, Stephen, I wouldn't like to find that spider in my bath.
Tell me about it, but I'll tell you what, let's go back to finding stuff out.
Okay then, I've got just a thing. How to?
How do you know when a spider's dead?
How do you make a soap star?
How alarmed is an aspidistra? How can you separate ping from pong? Oh, I'm really good at ping pong, mate. It's always been my favourite sport.
Is it not called table tennis now, though, Fred?
It is, you're
You're quite right. I've got a plastic glass, two plastic glasses glued together, two table tennis balls. The trick is to get each table tennis ball at the bottom of the other cup.
No problem. You just skillfully get them separated in the middle there and jiggle one down to one end.
Two in the other. No good, Fred. Gail, you'll go.
Spin them, maybe?
Very good, but you've only really got one really sensible over, but not this kind of spinning, but that kind of spinning. And look at that. I've got one at the bottom, one at the bottom of the other. Got it?
I've still got two at one end.
Well, you've got to start right, Fred. But that's how you separate ping from pong. No trouble.
Good game, good game. How alarmed is an aspidistra?
Of what?
Here's an object. Here's some electrical charge. Okay? Now, here's another object also holding some charge. And as I bring the two closer together, the amount of charge that each can hold increases. It's as if the glasses are getting bigger in front of your very eyes. And you can actually see this increase in capacitance on this simple circuit. Piece of copper plate there, which has got some charge in it, it's holding some charge. So am I. If I put my hand close to the plate, watch what happens to the meter there. That increase in capacitance. Take my hand away, it goes down, put my hand close to it, it goes up. And using a simple circuit like that, I've got a very, very effective demonstration. Well, here's an identical circuit, and I can use it to switch on the electric light in my lounge. There we are, very effective. And so to the aspidistra, which is where we started, this lovely languid sort of plant. Well, this and all sorts of household objects you can turn into a burglar alarm. Simply place it on the copper plate, little box of valuables in front of it. What a tempting sight for any passing villain. But let's see what happens when the villain approaches the box of goodies there. Watch. So there we are, the aspidistra. Quieter than a Doberman and a lot cheaper to feed. And that's how alarmed an aspidistra can be.
Now, how magnificent is mucus?
Mucus? It's not magnificent, it's horrible stuff.
Well, it's actually vital to our human health.
Well, how can drips that come out of your nose be vital to human health?
Well, what it's actually doing is it's clearing bacteria and dirt from your nose, okay? And it also lubricates your insides, and it stops us from dissolving.
Hey, look at that thing.
It stops us from dissolving. Let me explain. Now, we have got acid in our stomachs. I'll put this on here because I've got some acid in front of us here. And acid dissolves all our food. In fact, it actually dissolves things like metal as well. And this is what happens when you eat a biscuit, goes into your stomach, and it dissolves in acid. But be very careful here. Right, take a look at this. Ooh. There we go. Now give it a bit of a stir. You see it started to go black. Now it's breaking up the biscuit.
Well, it's changing colour, isn't it?
That looks disgusting.
It's gone really dark.
It's dissolving it.
That's what's happening in our stomachs. So what stops it doing the same to us? Well, it's actually a layer of mucus on our stomach lining. Mucus is our friend, and I have got my very own mucus recipe. Now, firstly, I need protein. Now, gelatin, which I've got here, is pretty pure protein. I've already added gelatin to a lot of hot water here to make it nice and sticky. Now, the reason I've got a lot of water is because mucus is actually made up primarily of water. We also need sugar, Now, syrup is very sugary, so I'll put lots of that in, like nice and gloopy and lovely. Make a nice mess with that. Some salt, dash of salt, and of course we need a little bit of colouring so it looks nice and mucousy. Let's see. Oh, that should do us. This creates a barrier between the acid and our stomach walls, protecting us. Isn't that lovely? So how magnificent is mucus? Well, it's pretty underrated if you ask me.
Magnificent. Now, how do you know when a spider is dead? I want you to meet Peter Parker, my spectacular spider pal. But how do you know when a spider's dead?
I'd imagine that they'd stop moving.
Well, if you look at Peter here, he's not moving at the moment, and he's certainly absolutely alive.
No, what happens is they stop breathing and go cold, you see.
I'm sorry, Fred, spiders are already cold-blooded,
Yeah.
and they don't breathe in the same way that we do, so you can't tell if they're breathing or not, so that's wrong. You see, the answer to this now has all got to do with the way that we open and close our joints. Now, this is a human arm. All mammals, in fact, all humans, yourself included, I'm sure, have arms arranged like this. Two sets of muscles. One on the outside of the arm, called the extensor. And what that does is straighten out the joint like that. And one on the inside of the joint, called a flexor. And that allows you to flex your arm to close it. But spiders don't have extensors for straightening their arms. And yet Peter here seems quite able to open and close his arms at will. So how's he doing it? Answer's over here. I want you to meet a half spider. This is a semi-Peter. Now then, you can see that his legs are all curled up. Because spiders have flexor muscles, that's the natural state. But in order to extend these arms without the extensor muscles, spiders use hydraulic pressure, indicated on this occasion by Fred's hairdryer. What they do is they pump body fluid to high pressure into the hollow leg. See how the leg straightens up. But when a spider dies, it can't maintain that pressure. The flexor muscles do their thing, and all the legs curl up underneath them. And that's a good way of telling how a spider is well or not, he's alive or dead. They have legs curled up underneath them.
So that spider's dead.
Well, that spider's not real, but if you saw a spider like that, I wouldn't trust it, because some spiders have actually learned to curl their legs up underneath them to give the impression that they're dead. So you never actually know if a spider's dead or not.